The music of Trae Edwards. The new CD, I Believed.
If there's a chance, girl, that you would come back, I still love you. So take that.
And of course, Trae has worked studio work for 22 years. We were talking about just a minute ago, but here's a little interesting Rick and Bubba fact. Trae Edwards went to high school with yours truly, Rick and Greg, at Oxford High School. Same county where Bubba went to school. Bubba went north of us, rival school, and his cousins went with us too.
Trae, what year did you graduate?
83.
1983, baby.
You're
We are great, as you can see. We're the class of 83.
That's it.
And so how weird is this right now?
Man, it's just another part of the puzzle.
So, I remember that, of course, Trae was beloved by the choral teacher. Me, not so much.
But I was the one that set the trash can on fire.
That's true. And
still was loved.
Right. You were still loved.
He could sing.
And she told me to leave the choral room. And what she said was, no, she stomped out of the room. This is what got me thrown out. And she said, I'm going to my office. Y'all call me when you're ready to be serious.
I forgot about this.
So we all left, and I called her from a payphone and said, hey, we're all ready, but we're not in there. And she walks out to an empty class, and she told me, wherever you are, just stay there. Right, and I never got to come back.
Oh, man, they were great days.
They were. But you know what? Before I got kicked out in ninth grade, I got to do the DJ part of 50 Nifty United States.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and you have the little voice part that comes in and talks about how we think our state's the best and all that. I got to do that before I was kicked out.
That's where it all started.
It is. But so you tell us a little bit, because we can sit and talk about high school days and have some fun with that, and we'll do some more of that. But what you've been in the business for a long time.
Yes, sir.
And tell us what you've been doing.
Man, when I was in Nashville for 20 years, working on several different projects, and actually started a company there called Music Media Productions, where we would take an artist and do just about everything they needed as far as their press kits and backdrops and pocket folders. And so that's kind of how I got into the business part of the music industry. And over the time, too, I was singing background vocals and doing demos, and, man, just loving Nashville and enjoying the life.
So how did this CD solo project, how did that happen? Because it sounds like to me you'd found your niche, you were being successful, you were working in the business, but you still always had that dream of what we're
exactly. Yeah, you never, once you're a performer, just like you guys, you never get that out of your system, and it's kind of always there. But these songs were actually, I've got some songs on there that are 15 years old that I actually did for the guys that wrote the songs. I did the demo vocals for them and some of the background stuff, and I just kept them. Just kind of kept them in the can. And the funny thing is that some of the producers I'm working with now have told me, man, those songs were just ahead of their time then.
Right.
And now they need to be
what
signed.
everybody told you was not what we're doing now then is what we're doing now.
Exactly, yeah. And the songs are relevant to today's time.
Yeah, and now for me, because you go out, you graduate high school, you don't hardly see anybody anymore. You hear, but I'm sitting in my office, and all of a sudden I get this really cool marketing banner sent to me, Trae Edwards releases CD, looking, to try to get interviews, and I look and I said, my gosh, that's Trae. That's the guy I went to high school with, and I knew you'd been doing some stuff, and so I look forward to hearing it. So you're going to now do one of the songs from the CD. What are you going to do for us here live?
Yeah, we're going to do Killing Myself to Stay Alive, and it's actually going to be the radio single that we're releasing to radios.
Okay, that's it. And who's on guitar with us?
This is my brother, David Paul.
Hey, David,
He's
what's
from
up?
Nashville.
Hey, man.
He's a great guy and a great artist, and he's actually bailing me out of some musical situations.
So once again, this is the single that has just been released to radio from the CD, I Believe. Here's Trae Edwards.
That alarm clock goes off 5 days a week. Lets me know when it's time to go, 'cause I've gotta make ends meet. She hands me a thermos of coffee as I walk out the door. The next day I was out there breaking my back, and she's what I'm doing it for. You see, I'm killing myself to stay alive, and that sweet little woman at home makes it all worthwhile. I can't afford to let my bills get behind. alive. When I get home, she'll have supper on the stove. I take a little break and catch my breath and unwind for an hour or so. A few honeydews and I watch the news. I try to get in bed by 10. Tomorrow's another day and I start all over again. 'Cause I'm killing myself to stay alive. And that sweet little woman at home makes it all worthwhile. I can't afford to let my bills get behind. I'm killing myself to stay alive. Oh yeah, I'm killing myself to stay alive. And that sweet little woman at home makes it all worthwhile. I can't afford to let my bills get behind. I'm killing myself to stay alive. Yeah. I'm killing myself to stay alive. I'm just staying alive. Yeah, staying alive. I'm just staying alive.
Yeah, there it is, Trae Edwards. And Killing Myself to Stay Alive, the new single off the CD, I Believed. Class of 83, baby.
Yes, sir.
In a tiny town where the biggest things were the water tower and a young boy's dreams, I believe.
21 minutes past the hour, you're hearing music from Trae Edwards.
In a little house,
The CD is I Believed, title cut.
doing without was a common theme. I believe.
Both of us grew up in Oxford, Alabama, went to Oxford High School, class of 83, and good to see Trae, and it's been, gosh, I can't remember the last time we saw each other before today.
15, 20 years.
Yeah, 15, 20 years. I think we saw each other. And so we've had, all went to school together. He even actually, you heard us talk about Dad all the time, actually played football for Dad, so he's experienced all that.
Oh, yeah.
Probably helped us with some of your mental toughness out there in the business.
But, man, you know what? Your dad was always a dad to everybody.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean,
That's true.
First-class guy.
Yeah, well, thanks. I know he'll be proud to hear, and I'll get him a copy of the CD. He'll love that.
Awesome.
Now, I know that we did the first single that was off the new CD, but what are we going to do next? Tell us a little bit about this next song.
We'll do a little ballad called Every Little Piece of My Heart.
Oh, you're gonna bring the ballad now.
Yeah.
You got to have the ballad.
That's right.
All right, here it is. Here's Trae Edwards on the Rick and Bubba Show.
What do you want with a broken heart in your life? I'd like to know, 'cause I've all but given up to holding on to these hands of time. I've been trying to let go, but when you hold me, I sure want to try to let love back in. Every little piece of my heart feels the beating of the thunder and rain. Every little piece of my heart feels the fleeting chance of true love again. So broken, so bruised, so scarred, but I'm gonna love you with every little piece of my heart. storms on a sea of change is hard. For one lonely heart, but I can imagine the way we were before. We drifted apart, but when you hold me, I sure want to start all over again. Every little piece of my heart feels the beating of the thunder and rain. Every little piece of my heart feels the fleeting chance of true love again. So broken, so bruised, so scarred for so long, but I'm gonna pick up the pieces that have fallen so far, 'cause I'm gonna love you with every little piece of my heart. Yeah, I'm gonna love you with every little piece of my heart.
There it is. Trae Edwards. The CDs, I believe. We got Trae Edwards' website there, rickandbubba.com. And you can go there to find out all the information. You can get the music. And come on over, Trae. Come take up one of the mics over here, and we'll talk a minute in the few minutes we have left to go. And so the pressure's off. You don't have to sing live anymore. Great job.
Thank you, brother.
So, when you found that you with the social media and everything, I mean, when you got a CD now, you can get out there, and as long as you've been in the business, I mean, you're out there on Facebook, you're out there on all the digital downloads off your website. There's even a video from I Believe that's on your website.
Right.
Really, everybody's kind of become their own distributor, their own record company.
Yeah, exactly.
And we're seeing more and more of that.
Right. But man, and it also helps. I've got a great marketing team behind me that's pushing everything. So you still got to have some people in place to do what they do. Right. But the social media has definitely helped a lot of that, especially since there's not really that many distribution deals out there anymore.
Well, you're like us. We have the same deal in our business. Look, all we want is access to the people. Let the people decide.
Yeah, exactly.
And what you don't like is when people get in the way and won't let you have access to the people. Let the people decide whether they like it or not. Yeah. And now I see Speedy coming up to a mic because we went to high school together.
Well, yeah,
and I knew this was coming.
And I was telling Trae off air. I said I just love hearing all of the old high school stories because it reminds me of me and my buddies back in Mississippi, and kind of relate to you growing up and stuff. And I mean, they've used your name in some of the stories, but anything that comes to mind. I mean, you played football with him.
Man,
is he really Uncle Rico? I mean, what was that like?
Man, we came up in a great time. I mean, thank the good Lord, my son is 21 years old now and a drummer and does great, but I would hate to think I'm having to raise a newborn child in this day and time. Mm-hmm. I mean, we had great neighborhoods. We stayed out and played in the yard till 11 or 12 midnight and left the doors open, the windows open, and so it was a great time.
You were talking about you were trying to figure out who Bubba was too because you knew we both from the same county. When you heard about the show, you were like, no. You think because your cousins all went to our school,
right?
Okay, well then that
Robbie Bussey and Randy Bussey and Rowan Bussey.
So that wasn't a joke.
No, they really isn't. They're straight up first cousins.
Okay, oh cool.
Yeah. So
Greg really the hothead that we see. I mean, did Greg have a temper growing up?
Man, Greg was a few years younger. He ran around with my brother.
Yeah. But picking on Greg and I know that.
Can't imagine.
And I know,
brother. His brother's a funny guy.
I know if we come back and we go to the audience, the first thing they're going to ask you about is whether I was truly guilty in the food fight of 1979.
Oh man, I think it was the first corn cob that was thrown.
Well, I've always said I was wrongly punished.
I can't remember whose face did it hit, but I remember somebody standing up. It was one of the teachers that stood up.
Yeah.
And was as soon as she pointed her finger, a corn cob hit her right inside the face.
It was bad. All right. You've heard the CD. It's available. Go get it. The Trae Edwards website's at rickabubba.com. We'll come back. We'll just reminisce about old days in school and phone calls at 866-WE-BE-BIG. Trae Edwards with us, country singer, songwriter, been working in Nashville for years. Now solo album out, TraeEdwards.com, and we're visiting because Trae went to high school with both Greg and me, but graduated with me, class of 1983, and was in a group of guys in school called the teacher's name The Group, which meant if there was trouble, some of these guys, if not all of them, need to come in. And I mean, our names being said on the speakers was so common; it was like morning announcements. Anytime you heard this phrase, teachers, I need to see the following students. You go, everybody just start getting up. Well, here we go. And it was, and here's the update. So you're a singer and songwriter, and of course I'm doing a radio show, and Mike Martin is a surgeon. What? Yeah, he's a orthopedic surgeon, and then we've got Donnie Adams, who is runs his own business and is a fireman, by the way.
Unbelievable.
And back in our hometown, and Craig Higgins, I think, manages a Walmart. And Mickey Shadricks is a TV sports anchor and part owner of a TV station. And who outside of that bunch? I guess that's all of them. That of course Gerald Cates was with Greg, but you had he comes on the show a lot. You've heard had Gerald Cates experiences.
Oh, no doubt.
And he's a full-time fireman.
Yeah, he's a full-time
he's a carpenter. So.
Now, because you mentioned
part-time singer,
right?
Oh yeah, he can bring it too. Now, I don't think you can't bring it with a quartet.
Are we gonna have the Wilcox boys in here later?
What a reunion!
Boy, that almost
and
took
Tracy,
off.
you were in a rock band too, right?
Man, me and Greg Grant.
Right, Greg Grant,
Gene Hicks,
Baker Reynolds.
Yeah.
And what was it called? I can't remember. Do you remember?
I can't remember which name we finally wound up having.
But you were like playing bass and singing
I played
something.
bass.
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh yeah,
and we actually was going to start playing at Six Flags. Then everybody went off to college.
You remember thinking you get that ultimate Six Flags gig?
Oh yeah,
where you're all summer playing on that stage. Yeah, we tried that
I remember
too.
Greg bringing the bad news. Well, man, I'm heading to college. Well, that's great.
Right, we thought we were all going, and then you just stayed in the business. You're the only one out of the whole band that stayed in it full time. And you just stayed in it from then on. Just kept on right out of school.
I was doing a couple of marketing things and got into sales and all that good stuff. So
all right, the food fight in 1979. I want to go back to that.
Here we go.
Because it's been.
You were acquitted on that, Rick. So
Well,
why are you worried about
I
it?
was acquitted by the audience, a jury of my peers, because if you remember, because of what we just said, this group of guys, anytime something happened, we were always assumed to be part of it, even if they couldn't prove it.
Exactly.
Well, talk about the day of the fight, because you heard him talk about it in the break. There was a build-up all day long.
Oh, it started at 8:15.
That it was going to happen.
Who started it? Who started the talk of, hey, let's do this? Do you remember, or was it just something
that
swelled?
I don't know.
Okay.
It just kind of
started
its own identity.
Gotcha.
And about 11 o'clock, it was like we were going to be bombed.
It was a frenzy, and they had different assistant principals, different people.
Sure did.
All going to say it ain't going to happen.
Oh, so even the administration.
Oh, yeah, the administration
Oh,
knew.
yeah,
And
they rolled in the tanks.
And they brought the group in and said, look, and I said, we're not involved in this. And they said, but you can stop it. And if it happens, y'all the ones we're going to hold accountable for it.
Now, did you say we're not involved with a straight face?
No.
Did you hold it together?
Really? Yeah. Because I knew it was happening without my help.
And it wasn't really, nobody was actually in a particular order. I mean, it just came up that there was going to be a big food fight. And we didn't know who was going to start it. Yeah.
Do you even know what it was over?
Just fun. Just close to the end of the year.
Just for fun.
I've never seen things. I've seen
Sounds like
people.
a Burgess right
I've
there.
seen movies try to
was fun,
make
yeah.
up fake food fights that were nowhere near this.
Oh, no, this is-
I've never seen so much food, and the first instinct from the teachers and the principals, they really didn't think it through. If we stand up and say enough, because in that day that would work, but what they didn't think about, wait a minute, there's so many people. We don't know where this food's coming from. So they stood up and just got machine gunned.
Oh, it
by
was way
food.
worse than you ever imagined.
I was wearing, of course, to school that day, one of my favorite terry cloth shirts with my gold Eagles necklace.
looking sharp.
And I remember diving under a table, and I caught, there was a kid over there, Mickey, saying, what Mickey Shadwick, that other kid named Mickey Travis or something like that. He was having a birthday, and they had a cake in there, and somebody hit me with a piece of cake going under the table. And I just got on the table, said, look, just let it end. And teachers when you go back to your class and a teacher is cleaning food off her glasses where people have hit her,
I'll be honest with you. Statutes of limitations run out. I slung a milk carton and a half a burger, and I slid out the door.
Did you ever see me throw anything? I don't think so.
Rick, now, like you said, statute of limitations. Go ahead, admit it.
I did. I slung food. I'm all about it. I'll admit it. Now, I didn't
Rick,
start it, but I did participate.
What'd you throw, Greg?
I was
A
not
milk
involved.
carton and a burger. The milk cart started swapping ends.
Yeah.
I didn't throw anything like dead on. I've had my tray and I just did it like that.
Well,
Rick,
Catapult.
everybody's coming clean.
I'm telling you,
Rick,
Statute
join
of
in.
limitations, Rick.
Rick, join in. You'll feel better.
All right, this might be more believable.
Hey, man, I tell you, you'll feel better.
This may be more believable. Okay, this might be more believable.
You threw that corn cob down.
No, I'll tell you how it started, and it goes back to Putt Chase.
Putt Chase. I talked to him about it one
Putt
day.
Chase started. Everybody was
They faked through.
They had people like Scotty Kraft. They had people lined up holding
the
paddles.
yard dog.
Think of the different time we're in. Holding paddles, hitting their hands. Everybody's in line. Everybody's like, "Is it going to happen? Is it going to happen?" Then all of a sudden, Scotty Kraft gets up and fakes.
He appreciates
with,
you.
with by the way, the late Chuck Mason.
Yeah, he
got
was
up
in it.
got up and faked a throw, and everybody started screaming. Well, they all wanted to be the first one to paddle these clowns, but they all got caught up in it and left the lunchroom.
They
all
were
went-
taking them out,
It's like
and
one
then
principal
boom.
grabbed him and the other said, "Yeah, I'm gonna get some of that too." But they all left. Now you just got the teacher tables. All the principals are gone, and the minute that last principal went out that door, Bud Chase hit somebody standing in the lunch line. I mean, right in the face.
But either threw it or
was
was he the
on.
one that got hit? One of the he was involved in the first shot fired.
Yeah,
he
Then
might
it
be
was just-
listening right
And
now.
once that first throw went,
It was mania.
guys, I can't begin to describe the
mania.
raining.
It was a wonderful thing.
The raining of food.
It was mania.
Was unbelievable. And students, I mean, you talk about bombing teachers.
So you expect us to believe that you just crawled under the table?
And then was hit on the way under right. I got hit in the love handle crawling under.
Well,
and
let me say
There's two
this,
other
though.
people in the room. He claims that he threw a milk carton
I did,
and,
but
and
let-
half a burger, and you say you just threw your tray.
Guys, straight up.
I was going for the shotgun approach.
He complains about getting punished for it, but Charles Manson didn't actually kill the people, but he was responsible for
That's
it.
fair.
You got it?
That's
Remember?
fair. That's fair.
It was one of those deals. You may not have thrown in.
Hey, y'all know what? though?
fair.
Rick did set me up on the Morning Breeze episode.
Okay, well, now just bringing up all kinds of stuff. You know how much you love Morning Breeze here. Bubba's
You still a little stink bomb?
Let's shut the hall down.
It was terrible.
What'd you do?
Man, I'm sitting. This was me and him and me and him and Mickey were together. I've had some. I don't know where I got it. No, that we got it from a cellar somewhere.
Down there at Stuckey's.
But
Yeah.
I'm on the floor now. I'm on my knees because then, of course, the rooms weren't air conditioned. We had vents at the bottom of the room where we're in the hallway. I look at Rick and Mickey. They're down at the other end of the hall, and Rick's standing over just laughing so hard his head's bobbing.
Yeah.
I think they're laughing at me. I'm on my knees blowing the stuff into the room through the vent. And as soon as I get the room full, I feel a hand on my shoulder. It's Mr. Higgins.
Look, I look up. The principal's coming, and he don't see him. Tracy's down there with it. He's blowing that stuff, that stink in the room. Hey, can't nobody see me? And the principal is
And you
closing
saw it
in. I
coming.
can see the principal. And I say, oh, I can't wait. And then I said, just right on the shoulder, and out he went.
And I had to go into the room and tell him what I was doing.
Right, but look, Morning Breeze coming into a room was just the best.
it was terrible.
We were doing that at the first radio station we worked at.
Really?
We Morning Breeze people there,
was
so that lives on.
It was pure sulfur.
But
yeah, it's rough.
But
Boy,
to
it's
the
rough.
food fight, I knew
Now, where's Mr. Higgins? Was he the one who wanted to fight you, Rick?
that was
Mr.
O'Shields.
Oh, shit.
Mr. O'Shields the one who wanted to fight me because I wish we could just put on boxing gloves and fight. he goes because what we're doing so far is not working. But they took us in front of the lunchroom. Now picture the times we're living in now, in front of the lunchroom and paddled us in front of everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. And
For the food fight.
For the food fight.
But you didn't throw anything.
But that's why I didn't think it was fair. But what I'm saying is, now this may be more believable to you. I wanted to be able to say I didn't throw anything because I knew the hammer was coming down. So once I'd had that pre-meeting, I knew the food fight was going to happen anyway. But I wasn't going to throw anything, so I could always say I'm being wrongly punished. And now my mother, who had no mercy whatsoever, she said, I don't care if you didn't throw anything. You were punished for the fact of the reputation you had developed.
Right.
You deserve to be punished, whether you threw anything or not, because just the fact that they knew you were part of it. And so I got whipped there. I got whipped when I got home. And the worst part is, and you remember this, they want us to clean the lunchroom up.
Just you guys.
Just that group. Well, we got milk cartons and turned them into ice hockey pucks, dumped all the water out, and started playing ice hockey with mops. And when the principal walked in and saw that, he said, "And that'll do it." And guess who he called? Coach Bill Burgess from the athletic department.
Oh, no.
When he came in those two lunchroom doors with the sun kind of shining behind him, standing there in those black coaching shoes, those tube socks where the elastic had broke on his giant calves, polyester coaching pants that were struggling.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The tight coach's shirt and that foam hat with the logo on it and the whistle around his neck. I mean, we just thought, well, we're dead.
Exactly.
He will physically kill everybody in this room. and we were petrified.
Oh, ain't no doubt.
And he walked us around the whole campus in a straight line, cleaning up everything that had ever been dropped on the school campus, took us down to the bottom of the hill, and paddled every one of us again. And his was a different paddle.
Yes.
I'll never forget it. I'm about to cry right now.
It stayed with you a little while.
It broke my spirit. I mean, if you couldn't get me to throw food right now if your life depended on it.
Or even talk about it.